Welcome to the Fitness Queens podcast, empowering your mind and sculpting your body. Join your hosts, multiple fitness world champions, Alicia Kyrgios and Stephanie McHugh, as we explore all things female health, training, competing, mindset, and living the fitness life every day.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of We Fitness Queens with my beautiful co-host, Stephanie McHugh.
Hello, everyone. So good to see you, Ali. How are you?
So good to see you. And I think, look, coming on to the back end of the last episode, we thought that it would be great to just do a quick little segment around how to actually enter the new year feeling refreshed, because I don't know about you, Steph, but I've definitely had years where I go from December, morph into January. Next thing I know, it's July, and I feel like I haven't even slept. I've definitely not
You,
had a
you
holiday.
just had like you just had a big like
Revolving
rundown.
door, constant work. Yeah. I've definitely had years like
So
that.
yours was a workhorse. So there's those scenarios, or there could just be scenarios where, like, let me just put more of American society. I'm not saying just Americans, but you just partied your ass off over the holidays. So you just feel like freaking shit, and it's day one, first day of the year, and you're like, oh my God, I have the massive hangover. I like feel like dog crap, or I've ate like an asshole, and I seriously have gained so much weight over these last few weeks. It's like, I don't know if you're one of those people, or if you're a workforce like Ali in the past. I've been probably more on the a-hole side of what I'm expecting in the past, where I wake up and it's January 1 and it's like, what did I do to myself? Like, what happened last night?
Look, I can tell you now, my days of waking up on the 1st of January feeling like that, where it's usually been like a week-long bender prior, are long gone. I think I closed that chapter.
Thankfully that wasn't this year.
My last festival, which would have been about 15 years ago.
Hey, you don't know who is listening, okay? I'm being a little blunt for my listeners here because I've been in their shoes. I am not, blaming or shaming. Just putting it out there, in the past, if you're, maybe more of the party person, that is just maybe let loose a little bit more over these holidays, and you gained a little bit more than you would have wanted, or you might have just,
Yeah.
felt a little crappier. There's some things that you can definitely do to feel more
100%.
refreshed as well.
100%. And also too, if you're just in a situation where, oh my God, sometimes not feeling refreshed comes from being in social environments or family dynamics too, where it's like, oppressive or dysfunctional or just, I don't
Negative.
even know.
Yeah.
Or the polar opposite, being on your own during a time frame that's meant to be
Lonely.
festive and happy and just feeling lonely instead. There could be a few different scenarios to this. And I think, whatever applies to you, I hope that some of what we talk about today helps, because, there are many different ways to, hate this analogy because it sounds horrible, skin a cat, but it's common and commonly used globally, so I can throw that one out there.
It makes sense.
There are many ways to do it, so it's like there is no one way. You just find the right way that feels good for you, right? But I think the key to it mainly is to actually have a little bit of goddamn downtime where you're not going 100 miles an hour or trying to please anyone other than taking care of yourself. And I think that's something that a lot of people lose sight of. And everyone needs a goddamn holiday. And from a holiday perspective, I'm not talking just about taking time off work. I'm talking about having, deload, relaxed states, not hyper focused on anything, doing things that don't have you cognitively dialed right in, having fun, being present, filling up your cup, spending time with family and friends. I mean, the list is endless, but you got to make space for that stuff, right? And I know in the past I've been guilty. Well, I've had the two modes in my lifetime. I've done Steph's crazy party scene stuff a while ago.
Okay, that was me in my younger years too, Allie. This is not recent, okay?
This is me pre-Christos days. And pre-competition days, so pre-fitness days. So, I've gone from that to complete workaholic, no time off, literally just no downtime, no time where I've just taken my brain offline, and I think too many tabs open in your head all year round is freaking fatiguing.
Sorry,
I was trying to tell it.
It's just all here. Oh God.
Blow your nose if you need to quickly, because he can edit this out.
Just so you know that.
Yeah, edit.
God. Okay.
Funny.
Okay. All right. Go back.
Yeah, like having too many tabs open mentally all the time is freaking fatiguing. So for me, when I think about, now that I'm no longer worried about turning up on Jan 1st with hangovers or anything else for that matter, I think more about turning into Jan 1 with the feeling like I'm ready to kick ass for that year ahead. Do you know what I mean?
Year, right?
And I'm remotivated, and I'm refreshed, and I have a bit of a pep in my step, not dragging my ass through the door that's just closed on 2023 into 24 going, what the
that's the difference. Yes, that is the biggest difference. Yes, because that's where half of our listeners are going to be on one end or the other. So kind of why, I bring it up. It's not just, again, guys, it was really more, of a perspective that I had growing up, because that's just all really I knew. It was like, oh, where's the New Year's party at? Where's the festival, or where's the the big event, or who's coming in town for this concert, so always chasing that. And that's, again, that's why I said more of a society thing, or maybe your environment, your circle of friends, or people you hung out with. So not saying it's bad. If you had fun, so be it. Glad, good for you. Got a maybe clean slate, and got it out of your system, and now you can
so now the New Year's
hit the year with a better focus. So be it. But just bringing up the fact that if you don't have already your goals set, then you're already going to feel a little lost. So I think that's like the biggest thing. So knowing that goal setting is important, but knowing clearly what's at the top of, you know, that goal list should be more important for you and how you're going to tackle that. So trying to actually set up yourself before, like for me, I can't do things if it's a messy environment, like including my house, like my office. If it's super messy, I just can't think straight. So if you're struggling with like maybe organizing or doing any of that stuff, maybe declutter. Start with decluttering your space. Declutter, like declutter your closet. Like I had to do this, honestly. Like I was just getting so frustrated. Like I was wearing the
This
same
is
thing.
because we know that you are a shopaholic. Like
I have
the
problems.
diary and the confessions of a shopaholic, and especially the online one. This is her.
Problems.
Lady.
I have problems, you guys. But anyway, if I can give you guys advice, actually, on the shopaholic topic, side squirrel note here, there's a Shop Runner app now that you guys can actually attach to your PayPal account, and you can get 2-day free shipping if you guys are actually needing to get all your stuff quickly accessible to you.
So
Just
funny.
Anyways, not an ad, not sponsored by ShopRunner. Just wanted to help all my girlies out there that are shopping online.
I love the concept of decluttering, though. I really do. And I've found, even for me, just coming into obviously trying to prepare for the baby, we've done this. So we've had the renovation going on in the house. So we've had to actually start downsizing, you know, getting rid of shit we're not using, because we're about to have rooms, you know, that will be knocked down and things extended out, and you're not going to have room to put these things. So we've started that process. But then also you've got the nesting process and the preparing of, you know, George's stuff migrating into the big boy stuff and out of the baby stuff, her stuff coming in. So we've just done this. And I must admit, I'm going sort of room by room and part of the house by part of the house,
everything, right?
It in.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have time. And it's incredibly cathartic. I must admit, when you start doing it, it's like, wow, that's actually pretty good. And I don't know about you, Steph, but as I'm doing things, because I'm terrible with this stuff, but I just go, Christos, photo, marketplace it now. And he'll put everything on marketplace. And then you get a kick out of selling things for these little
You nailed it. Like honestly, I created a whole Poshmark closet, women. Like I'm like, I got so much shit in here. I'm like, I need to get rid of it.
And you know what I love about it? Initially, we started doing it because it was just about having, you know, we don't have to take it anywhere. We don't have to take it to the dump. We don't have to go take it to Vinnie's. We don't have to, you know, drop it off at a Salvation bin.
Yeah, I was like
really
a
have
Goodwill
someone come get
like
it,
that,
right? So originally we started doing it for that, but then you just get a bit of a kick out of it. It's a bit of fun. So we've been going through the process of exactly that: decluttering, reorganizing, downsizing, marketplacing, and
sell your stuff. Maybe replace some of the stuff. Like maybe it'll make you feel so much better. Just up, you know, up, not just tightening up, but at the same time, maybe replacing a monitor. Even like, oh my God, I made a huge difference. One of my offices needed a new monitor, and I'm like, I've been staring at this other monitor this whole time. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I got so used to that one that I like. Once I upgraded, I'm like, oh, this is 10 times better.
10 times better.
I can actually work easier. So trying to improve your workspace, make, you know, of course, your closet more efficient, your kitchen more accessible for meal prepping, making things, you know, easier for you. This will set you up for the year. So just giving you a quick start as to how I actually wanted to start my year. And I did start my year was by decluttering my own home. I actually started a remodel because I got so like just annoyed. Like, well, long story short was that originally I was supposed to move. We were supposed to move all of 2021. Then we like, of course, didn't move. And then 2022 came. We then decided not to move. Then we decided to move again. We started looking at homes. Well, reason why we decided not to move is because then Florida got so busy, like just COVID kind of made a lot of other states move over to Florida. So that was originally our goal, was to move to Florida. But we ended up pulling the gun on that and staying in Texas, looking here in Texas. Then just interest rate and real estate has just been killer here. So we then decided, you know, it was kind of like a dumb decision to move out of the property that we were in. Plus, really my parents are my biggest why, and I say this
and
more
that's super
here,
close.
and I can't like neglect the fact that I can take care of them and I can actually watch over their health and take them to, hospital visits, doctor's visits, all the things that I take upon myself to, to watch for them. So I then just, I'm like, well, what's the point? I get mad at my kitchen, so why don't I just remodel it?
Yeah.
Like, here I go. I'm like starting to throw things out, starting to remodel it. So doing the remodel, and Ali, you can relate. It's just such a headache. It's such
Oh
a
my
it's a
gosh.
no process.
Yeah,
It's like,
really,
oh
really
my
is.
God.
But we were the same. We were like, why would we bother going and, like you'd sell in this environment and to buy in the environment where everything's gone up so much,
It's the
you're not
same
going to
thing.
be, you're getting the same thing. You're trading off.
Same
So
thing.
it's like, what's the point? We're better off. We love our
Remodeling
home.
your
We're
home.
better off renovating and extending it a little bit to make room for the needs we have. But then we'll be here for another, like, probably, I reckon, at least, I don't know, 5 to 10 years before we
Right.
upgrade. So, it just made more sense to us. We've done the same thing, and it's, oh, wow, what a mission.
It's a difference, right? The difference. Like,
Yeah.
that's already the biggest thing. And I'm like, God, why didn't I do this sooner? Like, why didn't I not do these changes? Always because I was like, oh, we're moving. What's the point of investing in this house if we were moving anyways? That
Totally
was
get
kind
it.
of my constant, story I kept telling myself. Was like, there's no point of, doing all the,
I think you're doing it the
stuff
right way. I think you're doing it the right way. 100%.
Small little pieces, guys, but I'm not
Guys are
rushing.
like,
It's like I'm doing the stuff that I know was most important, which for me was the kitchen.
yeah,
Was I'm like, I'm in, this is what
yeah,
annoys me the
in
most.
it all
So
the time.
and yeah, we spend so much time there, and I was kind of getting to the point where I didn't even want to be in there because it was just so it was not making sense. So making it make more sense,
Yeah.
opening it up, making, of course, the changes to make it aesthetically look the way you want it to. So all those things have made, oh my God, a big shift even for me going into the new year.
Yeah.
So if you need to maybe spruce up your area, but maybe even just, not just reorganizing, but maybe redecorating. I feel like that makes a big difference. New paint. Oh, new year, new paint. Oh, yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was
New
me.
look, new look, new you.
Fresh.
I love
Yes,
it.
exactly. So I just feel like that's a great way to also start. And, this is nothing health related and fitness related, but it will help your mind
Yeah.
and your efficiency throughout the day to tackle on your day.
So for me, normally I would be actually, long story short, I never used to take any time off. I was a complete workaholic, always was. That was just who I was my whole life. So up until probably the last 7 years where I committed to actually having proper downtime, I didn't even have weekends. Like, I was crazy. So proper
Workaholic.
weekends, time with family, and prioritizing these things that matter, and then having good quality mental space for myself by actually taking a goddamn holiday. That's really only happened, and I've really only set those boundaries with myself and then also everyone in my sphere and my business in the last probably 5 years, right? So we moved from never ever, I would never take a day off. I'd work all the way through and then into the new year, and it was just, if I took a long weekend, that's probably all I would take. We moved into this space of front loading and doing the work 2 weeks in advance so we could actually shut the office for 2 weeks. So normally I would my last day would have been on Friday, yesterday, and then I wouldn't reopen again until, about the 4th of January. But this year, it's not going to look like that because I give birth on the 3rd of January. So what I have to do this year is work all the way through the morning of, take myself to hospital, check in, have a baby, and then I'm taking my 2 weeks annual leave with a newborn.
You guys pop this baby out real quick.
My goal this year to make sure that I still entered January as a new parent again in a newborn bubble, with a feeling like I was in control, on top of things, nothing looming over my head, no to-do or task list overdue, but yet still feeling like I'd had a little bit of downtime in those last 2 weeks. I've approached my end of year by setting myself up for it. And what I mean by that is I made sure that all of my assignments, exams, and everything for my studies, done, handed in, finished before that 2-week period where I'm on my own, because Jacinta would normally take 2 weeks off with me, but she has to work my 2 weeks that I'm taking off. So she's on holidays now, and then I go on holidays, and then we're both back online together. So it's kind of weird. It's a weird feel in the office for the next 2 weeks, but I had to set myself up so that I could do the work I needed in that 2-week period, but it not be high pressure, and me still have time where I could take half days to take Georgie swimming and mini bounce and spend time with him. I had to have it so that I could still go get treatment and go have, magnesium soak and do the things that still feel like I'm having a little bit of nurturing self-care me time prior to going into the hospital, right? So I really approached the end of the year this year a little differently, but my goal was the core objective of having still family time. So family time, me time, less pressure, a to-do list that was complete. So it was literally just managing some day-to-day client interfacing and programming based stuff only, and then having nothing over my head. So nothing where I was like thinking about it in my subconscious that I still have to do that. I still have to do that. I still have to do that. Instead, it's like, hey, I'm sweet. I'm just going to cruise through, tick my boxes every day. I've got to do. And then by the time I go by the time I go into hospital, it's like, I can actually take these 2 weeks to just really enjoy my baby girl and try to make as much time with George whenever she's sleeping as I can. So I bring those two together, because that's going to be a new little challenge in its own. So
cute. You got the pair. I'm like so like enamored with
gonna be great. I can't
You've got
wait.
both the boy and the girl, and she's gonna have her hands full. Obviously, her for the year is clearly off to a very, very handful start. But with that being said, right, like I'm sure you've had a clear vision of what your year will look like. And I think that's just so important. If you haven't already looked ahead, last episode, we talked a lot about reflection. We talked a lot about, making sure you, tuned in, reflected, and just essentially, had all the things analyzed. But now let's talk about vision and actually having a vision for your 2024, which would go into more goal setting and being clear with that. Because once you're clear with your goals, you're clear with your vision, you'll really know how to execute it, because you'll set up a plan to execute that. So for me, it helps to do a vision board. It really does. I feel like the power of manifestation, the power of, actually seeing things and, perceiving that you deserve it. Like you deserve this. You actually belong there, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest or you're trying to envision, creating that vision board and actually having it in front of you and putting it in your office or in your closet or in your bathroom or wherever it is that you get to see it, to remind you that at the beginning of the year, these were your clear goals and this was the clear vision that you had for yourself for the year.
I love it.
Because it may change. Yeah, so you don't forget. You get to go look at it and be like, okay, it may be like, of course, some main things and some personal things, and it doesn't matter. Still make it there to make you remember when you had the spark of motivation, when you had that clear vision, and when you had the drive to want to do that. Because
you might even want to make it digital and make it your screensaver in your computer.
I like the digital
every time you log on, every time you look at it, it's like boom, there, know. And you can also add to it then digitally throughout the year if you want to put something extra in there, because it's not a set and forget. Remember,
I like the fact that you can add in the digital ones. You're right, because on the board, you're like, I ran out of room. And I'm like, oh, here I go. I'm like just layering stuff. I'm like, but I want this now. And it's like, no, but it's the same thing. It's like a reminder of what those wants are. What's your desires? What are those goals? What do you want to chase? What is it that you truly want to achieve this year? So once you kind of put those things, put them then put them out, then put them in a list and put them in a priority order, because then you'll know what matters more.
Well, you're channeling your energy first,
because you need to know what needs your attention and what can wait, because there's things that you might do backwards. You might be worrying about, how to do makeup and you don't even have the makeup yet. Like You know what I mean? Like it's just like you're going ahead of yourself. So you're making sure baby steps, but know that that picture is there, those visions there. So a vision board is one of the tips that I would recommend to really start this year fresh with leaving the things maybe that it could be a repetitive goal you had from last year, but rechange it and make it realistic, like we talked
Or
about.
layer upon it if you might have like
Mhm.
achieved part of it, like you did with
Now you can grow upon it.
layering on
Correct.
it for what you want to do next. And I think, look, probably one of the ones that I would come back to, which I think is important, and I know I feel better when I do it, to be completely refreshed, is to choose those moments and have that time, because we think about this end of the year, silly season, social events, time with family. I like to be actually physically present and digitally detox.
Ooh, I love it.
Really
Yes. Hugs.
unplug from
I'm
the
gonna do that, by the
matrix.
way.
Yeah, unplug from the matrix for a few days, even if you can only do it for one, do it for Christmas Day, and just literally phone away, embrace and embed yourself in that moment, right? Because honestly, sometimes it's all you need is just a little break. Like too many tabs open in the brain, shut the tabs down, put the digital away, and just allow yourself to just be present for the day. So for me, that's always really good. And I try to take at least a couple of days. And I really just try to have days where I have nothing on,
Nothing to
where I
do.
can just sit in the sun with a book, or I can throw something on the TV, or I'm really super active with the kids doing some sort of activity, or I'm playing board games with my in-laws and the family at the dinner table at night after the kids are in bed. Like just be, and I think you walk away from those days going, okay. I feel,
Yeah.
I feel recharged, and I feel
Mhm.
like I have had some downtime, because
Yes.
I know for me personally, if I don't have moments of complete shutdown of those open tabs, that I will flow into the next year without any
You'll burn
separation from
out.
your
You'll burn
past.
out, and that's inevitable.
Exactly. Like I've
Anyone
had
will burn
no
out.
break. Yeah.
Yes. And because I mean, you nailed it with the fact that you have to go to a place or have, maybe a setting that makes you feel recharged, whether if that's
Yeah.
just your own home and just not doing anything. There's times that, man, when I just do that, it does recharge me and I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. But the beach does that for me. Like if
Yeah.
I'm at a point where, because I don't live by the beach, we don't have a beach around here. It's like 12 hours of a drive time away from here. So we just obviously would fly to one, right? But it's like you don't really get to just go
Yeah.
all the time to get to a beach unless we were like going to an event and it just happened to have a beach by it.
Yeah.
But even then, you're working. It's really not. People always say like, "Oh man, you get to travel so much, and I bet it's so much fun." I'm like, guys, I'm working. Like, it's really actually work.
Not, it's
More of
work,
the
like literally
time.
work. It's a chore to do that
It's
travel,
more
not
of a chore getting on that
really.
airplane, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, it's a place for me. So for me, it's the beach and being able to go to the ocean and being able to decompress and close all those tabs out, like you said, and really recharge myself, recharge my
Yeah.
batteries, and just kind of reset. And those are like no matter what time of the year, it could of course be the beginning of the year, which I do that in Cabo with Carrie. That's usually kind of like a traditional thing that we totally do. We do that to start off our new year on a good note with a reset because we can get burnt out even going into the end of the
Yeah.
year. As coaches, we both kind of,
Yeah.
work to the back end of the
Yeah.
year, trying to set up the new year. And it's just really difficult. Actually, Ali, you're right about it not having that little moment of a
Exactly.
reset or recharge. You will, kind of feel like it just runs together. And then
Exactly.
summer's here and you're so burnt out and you don't understand why. And you're kind of, and it's really daunting on our, of course, our, not just our social selves, but I feel like our mental health. I really think that
Yeah.
that's really where it affects
Definitely.
us the most.
I agree
So
with that.
what for me was the beach. I don't know for you, Ali, if it's like a place,
Look,
is it
before,
nature?
no, absolutely nature-based for sure. And it's definitely usually either water or forest, right? So,
Forest? Yes.
before Georgie, we would do regular long weekends. I call them bookends, where I would just literally book us in either up in the mountains in the
Yes.
rainforest, hiking for 4 days, or we would be at the beach somewhere off the coast, you know, and it would be water and, you know, just sand for 4 days. So I'm exactly like you. I think I will get back to doing the things that I love like that once the kids are a little bit older and they can be involved in it. But for now, for the next few years, it'll look, you know, a little different.
More home based and more, you know, of course,
Exactly.
being around,
Yeah.
you know,
And I'll still get those, those little moments. And I think, you know, definitely as they start getting through the next few years, then we will get them more. But you just got to adapt to what you've got and find the moments that actually give you the relaxation, you know. And another thing that we used to do all the time that obviously we haven't been able to do is we would go to the gold class movies every week. Every single week.
Yes, we're moviegoers. Actually, that's like one thing I do remember of you guys.
Really
Big
big.
moviegoers.
And we have not been. Like you can't go really.
I mean, to be honest, there hasn't been good movies though. Like there hasn't really.
Well, you know what I said? Divine timing,
happen.
right? Hollywood has been doing its strike, and I'm down with this because I can't go to the gold class. None of y'all get to enjoy any of it either.
The whole world doesn't get to do. I don't get to participate. Neither do you guys. Yeah, no, movies have not really been a big, huge thing recently in the last couple of years, in my opinion. I mean, there's been maybe like one or two a year that have been like good, like maybe big
nothing
time,
like we normally
had. It was like
something good.
Every weekend there was something. So no, those like activities, decompress. Like if there's something that you like, that you could go do for the weekend, do that at the beginning of the year instead of waiting till you're just so tired of working. You know, all of, you know, in our end over here, it's winter going into spring, for you guys, summer going into fall. So yeah, just make sure you take that little break and reset if you haven't already, because some people I know here in the States will take their vacations leading into January 1st, and then of course have to work, and the kids go back to school, their break is over, which leads me into making sure that you have a new set schedule for the new year. So knowing your agenda, knowing kind of, are things changing? Can I change things within my schedule to be more efficient for my goals? So if maybe last year you had the same set schedule, you had goals you didn't achieve, like maybe getting to the gym, eating your meals, you know, following a plan, this is the time that you can actually start setting up a different schedule for yourself to try to pinpoint, you know, of course, a different workout time, meal prep, you know, days, different shopping schedules. So pre-plan, try to look at your schedule and try to set up something that's realistic. I find it very important to do this multiple times in the year because seasons change and so do our schedules. So we have to adapt and change with them. So this is a good time for us to transition and maybe have some new habits built within our time of the day that, you know, not that you have it, you make it. Okay. So make the time. Find where it can be made throughout your week. It could start with just 2 days a week. It could literally be, you know, simple stuff going in, you know, doing 30 minutes. So if you were talking about, you know, eating something healthier, just swapping something out in your day, you know, make it an alternative. It's not even about going and meal prepping and doing everything. So make a change, make a swap, you know, set up your schedule. Those things I find it very important to, you know, set ourselves up, you know, fully.
Yeah. And then, you know, I also think don't make the mistake of doing nothing. So don't make the mistake of throwing all of your good habits, all of your movement and training and quality nutrition practices out the window just because it's the silly season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think have an 80-20 rule that applies to it still. So, you know, keep 80% of your consistency in your daily habits. Hit some training, move at least, even if you're, you know, we've talked about this. I know it's really cold there. You guys can't get out and do it, but even if it's that you're being active and playing games and sports and stuff with your family around those Christmas days where public holidays are there and the gyms are shut, it's just being a little, you know, a little smart about what you're doing. Because if you go throw everything to the wind and do absolutely nothing, you go from doing everything to being an absolute couch potato. You're going to walk into the new year feeling a little bit demotivated and lower on energy, believe it or not, than if you were to still have some quality movement and still fuel yourself well for at least 80% of the time. You know, I think
Yes.
lose sight of the good stuff you already do temporarily. I think that's probably one of the things that people should
Yes.
probably consider too. I definitely know I always feel so much more recharged when I'm still taking care of me. Like
Mhm.
I can enjoy things and I can
Too.
have, a couple of red wines with family and I can enjoy a little bit of dessert and I can do I can have a whole couple of days in a row where I don't train, but I'm not training the whole 2 weeks that I'm off. And I feel like that actually recharges me.
Balance.
Exactly.
Yes. Finding balance. And if you haven't been able to find that and that's what you're trying to chase, trying to really find the things that make you happy, but also the things that your body craves and needs. Sometimes we neglect those things. So just try to pinpoint small little things that your body has maybe been missing.
Yeah.
Mobility is a big thing. It's obviously what I preach and I really have been diving into all the time. So maybe just getting more flexible. It could be a simple goal as that. If you haven't created a bucket list, I think that bucket lists keep us in a way like, you know, striving for other things besides just physical goals or even
Yeah.
habit goals. A bucket list just means like, hey, one day, I wish I could do this because I find that that keeps us dreaming in a way that we can kind of dive in more into that like kid self, like, okay, I've
Playful,
always wanted to do this. Like I've
playful
always
state.
wanted to do this. So
Yeah.
because that is fulfilling, like it's not really so much of achievement of self like achievement, more just like I knocked that off my bucket list. I've always wanted to do that. So if there's stuff that you've wanted to do, like for me, I've always wanted to take well, since being with Carrie, I've always wanted to take Carrie to El Salvador. And
Yeah,
that's just
nice.
always been a bucket list just to go together. Cause I mean, I've gone and I've always wanted to go to Ireland. So that's actually kind of two of our
Oh
bucket
my
lists.
God, that's where I really want
Hey,
to go. That's my
yeah, I'm like,
favorite accent
they're
on the
not like
planet.
I'm pressuring these
Really want to
things
go.
to happen, but if they're able to fit in it's a bucket list. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna kind of keep my eyes on that to try to see, can I knock out some of the things on my bucket list too
yeah.
this year along
Love
with
it.
my goals? Because that also is a good list to be looking at. So if you have your goal list, set that up, see what's more of a priority, have a bucket list, try to, be playful and also still have some cool things that you maybe always wanted to do or
Yeah.
new skills you wanted to maybe try out. It's okay to be a beginner. So I mean, I think let's rip the band-aid of trying to have that anxiety.
Yeah,
Um, I think Allie's gonna be doing some cool beginner stuff.
absolutely.
I'm gonna be, diving myself into new things. I still haven't 100% committed into my new, I guess, activity that I'm gonna be doing because
And
I still
I think that these things, these knowing that you've got these new things and these challenges ahead of you actually do make you enter that new year feeling refreshed because it's like it's a motivation point. You're not kind
myself.
of entering the new year going, oh, it's gonna be the same shit again, same shit, different year. You know what I mean? Like it gives you something to look forward to. And so I think it's great to have something where you go, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what's going to be different. This is, a new direction or a new path or a new hobby or a new something. I think it's cool to be able to do that because it will motivate you. And motivation is and can be newfound motivation, super recharging.
It
So
really is.
yeah,
And
love it.
and to end on that, because I want everyone to really know that it comes down to your narrative too. The
Mhm.
more you keep telling yourself, nothing's changing, this isn't gonna be different, like
Exactly.
nothing's gonna be, better for me.
Exactly.
It's a narrative you're telling yourself, and until you start changing that and you start actually telling yourself you want better, you can be better, you will be better, that's when you'll start actually seeing change and progress.
Exactly.
So change your narrative if you're having, this negative self-talk or you're just not doing anything to change anything at all, then you're yourself to blame, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't blame anyone. Stop blaming others. You got to start looking in self and start, okay, I got to cut my BS. I got to cut out the things that I'm doing and change a little bit and start slow, start small. Just start, man. Just
Yeah,
start. That's all
exactly.
that matters.
Exactly.
So
So
do whatever it takes.
I think as you can hear from the different things we've talked about, that, entering a new year feeling refreshed and recharged can look very different to a lot of people. And you've got to find what take what you need would be my biggest piece of advice. Like, think about what it is in your personal context that you need to use to help you step into 2024 as a ready, willing, able, and full energetic spirit, right? And it might be that it is setting yourself up, having downtime, and turning the brain off. It might be that you're recharging, refueling, and self-care. It could be you're decluttering and you're making space and you are opening yourself up for new challenges and new excitement. Like, you could be present with family, engaged in connection, and looking at developing relationships. Like, whatever it is, there are a million ways that you could go about it. But I think take what you need, identify what it is that you often do that is a shortfall. So that reflective practice we talked about in the last episode, and then set the intention for how you want it to feel different, look different, be different in the new year.
Envision it.
Exactly.
And make sure you have a clear vision of what you're trying to aim for. Have a really good system set in place to achieve it. And just really make sure you believe in yourself. It all starts with you truly believing you're capable and that you are worthy and that you have what it takes to achieve that goal. So no dream is too small or too big. You've just got to start and make sure that you have yourself doing things consistently. If you get a little refresh, like I kind of had to do, like I'm doing a whole refresh. I'm getting a haircut. I'm gonna like I told you guys, I painted, I decluttered, I like making sure that everything feels fresh. That is the way I'm starting the year off, of course, with the little beach episode too, to reset. And then just know that I have good intentions to really tackle my vision board, which I will after I finish it with you guys.
I love it. And
so if you can create one.
You're making me think I need to create a digital one.
Hey, and if you guys do, please share it with us. Like, I mean, I think that would be a great way for you guys to also get some, reshares and all the stuff. Create your vision board, manifest what you want, share it with us. We'll share it. I want to see what everybody is chasing, all the stuff that you can do this year. It would be really fun to see it from y'all. So thank you guys. I hope this was a quick little nice episode for y'all. Happy New Year. And let's kick ass 2024.
Yes.
Individually.
Take it by the balls and run with it.
Yes. All right, guys. It was a great episode.
Guys. Good to see you
See
all.
you next time, Allie. Bye.